Close on the heels of the launch of the OnePlus 7 and the OnePlus 7 Pro, ASUS has also launched its latest flagship smartphone, the ZenFone 6. The ZenFone 6 is a stark departure in design when compared to previous ZenFone series phones. But does it have what it takes to actually take on the hype of the OnePlus 7 Pro? Well, I had some time with the ZenFone 6 at a pre-briefing which ASUS had arranged for a few journalists. We just got around 1 hour of time and I got to check out the phone. I'm Ershad from Mr. Phone, and these are my first impressions of the newly launched ASUS ZenFone 6. As usual, before we move on, I always have a request from you guys, which is to hit that red subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it to get notified whenever Mr. Phone puts out an awesome new tech video. One look at the ZenFone 6 and you know that ASUS has gone berserk on the innovation. The first thing that grabs your attention is the flip camera module on the rear. Essentially, this module flips open to scan your face for face unlock, and you can also use the high resolution rear cameras for selfies. Yes, including the wide-angle one. Now I know you guys have a few questions, let me answer them one by one. First, since the phone has mechanical moving parts, will it fail soon? Have you ever bothered about moving parts in a disk drive? No, right? So stop worrying so much about moving parts on your phones. And ASUS has tested it for 100,000 cycles in ideal conditions. Therefore, I expect it to last for a long time for sure. What about the dust accumulating in the open space? It does happen. Dust will get accumulated in due time. But it is also easier to clean because the open space is easier to access. Is it automatic or manual? This is where it gets interesting. It is an automatic module for most scenarios. Like when you switch on the selfie camera, it automatically flips open, or when it is scanning for your face to unlock the phone. However, you can also manually move the camera by sliding up or down the selfie button inside the camera app. In fact, ASUS was excited about how this could help you compose some incredible shots without too much effort. Also, ASUS has gone ahead and made automatic panorama modes that you can shoot vertically or horizontally with. There is another thing that I'd like to highlight. ASUS has a controlled speed mechanism where it has a 3-stage impulse. It starts off moving at 400 ms, then goes faster at 2400 ms, and finally settles in slowly at 400 ms. It looks a little janky at first, but this controlled motion is ideal for the longevity. My other problem was that the motor is fairly loud. You can add custom sounds to it if that is any reprieve. Now, the design story doesn't end here. The phone has a typical glass sandwich design with Gorilla Glass 3 on the rear and Gorilla Glass 6 on the front. It is curved glass, so the phone sits nicely in the hand. The flip camera module is made of liquid metal, by the way. Moving on, there is a headphone jack and a USB Type-C port at the bottom. You also get a dual speaker setup in stereo mode. It gets super loud by default and even louder with the outdoor mode. By the way, there are 2 new upgraded smart amps for better sound. You also get a triple slot SIM tray for 2 SIM cards and a memory card. Wait, there is more. ASUS has added an extra smart key to the ZenFone 6. It has 3 levels: single press, double press and long press. Since this is a smart key, it is set to open Google Assistant by default. But you can program it to do whatever you like. Quite literally whatever you like. I really like this freedom. But the right edge is now crowded with buttons, and ASUS tells me there is a reason why the smart key is on the right. We'll get to know more about it after the launch on the 16th. Coming to the 6.4-inch display, you get a full-screen IPS LCD FHD Plus panel. It can go up to 600 nits of brightness. In my limited time with the phone, the display didn't look as impressive to me. I mean, the OnePlus 7 Pro has a 90Hz refresh rate now and a QHD Plus panel. Okay, forget that. At least HDR support was critical. Even the Nokia 8.1 has it. This is a letdown for me. Maybe my perspective will change after using the phone. Apart from the changes to the design, the ZenFone 6 has a new coat of software. It has been stripped down to look like stock Android with the embellishments of Zen UI like the awesome OptiFlex mode. I really like the new ASUS approach that is going for minimalism and clean experience over everything else. Heck, ASUS even gives you the pill-based navigation gestures if you want to use it. I'm most excited about testing out the new Zen UI and seeing how it improves upon stock experience. Actually, Zen UI is now truly going up against Oxygen OS with this iteration. But if it is better or not is something we'll have to check in our full review. Inside the ZenFone 6, you get a top-of-the-line Snapdragon 855 system on chip and 3 RAM/ROM variants, 664, 6128 and 8256. It felt snappy in my time with it, but of course it wasn't enough to make any conclusive thoughts on the performance. That said, compared to the 12 gigs of RAM that you get on the OnePlus 7 Pro, the ZenFone 6 does fall short a bit when it comes to on-paper specs, but of course the price should be different. Interestingly, ASUS has added a massive 5000 mAh battery inside the ZenFone 6, and you get QC 4.0 fast charging at 18 watt with the ability to recharge other phones using a Type-C to Type-C cable. There is no wireless charging or reverse wireless charging though. Coming back to the actual cameras inside the flip module, you get a couple of sensors. The 48 megapixel Sony IMX586 sensor with pixel binning to 12MP, and you also get a 16 megapixel wide angle camera. Both these cameras can also be used for selfies, of course. There is also a dedicated super night mode for low light photography. I couldn't test any of this in my time with the phone though. After spending a little bit of time with the ZenFone 6, I've just realized that it completely bucks any sort of design trends, smartphone design trends that are existing currently. That flip out module is completely wacky, but as far as my first impressions are concerned, that module is pretty awesome in my opinion. Also, I like the fact that ASUS's engineers are taking care of the sturdiness and the rigidity of the module as well. Having said that, compared to the OnePlus 7 Pro at least, there are a few critical specs that are missing. But compared to the OnePlus 7, the ZenFone 6 actually holds up really well. So we'll have to see what it is priced at. Well, I'm Ershad from Mr. Phone. Those were my first impressions of the ZenFone 6. Stay tuned to our channel for a full review. Until next time, goodbye and Godspeed, my friends.